I like what I like, so I do what I do. Resist the urge to be encouraged to be schizophrenic all the time in your tastes, in your likes, and in your desires. What makes you you? Is it your smile? Is it your laugh? Is it your ability to tell it like it is? Well, to me, I feel like what makes a woman who she is her essence, what she brings, and then everything that she does, all the details that she adds to her life to reinforce and communicate exactly who she is in an intentional way, which is why I believe that every woman should have a signature scent. I feel like this is a lost art that we're not taught anymore, and this is going to be a part of my womanhood signature series. Because we're a channel full of fragrance lovers, we are going to start with the signature scent, because if we think about all of the women that we know as icons, they have signatures, whether it's a signature hair like Beyonce has the blonde hair, or if it's a signature look in terms of how someone has an eclectic vibe in the way that they express themselves. The women that we remember, the women that make a mark, the women that leave an impression on us, they all have signatures. And I feel like this is one of the most underrated, skills and details that a woman can develop in her life to really just show who she is and communicate who she is. And over here, you're never fully dressed without a fragrance. So in today's video, I am going to dive into how to pick your signature scent, how I have, crafted my collection to be built around signatures. And we're going to dive into the concept that I call fragrance families, because over here, we all got a lot of fragrances. We cannot just pick one, but I'm going to put you onto a signature scent sequence that can, just help you bring things into your collection in a mindful and meaningful way that complements who you are and the statement that you want to bring forth in the world. For me, when I bring fragrances into my collection, it is just more of reinforcing to myself, reminding myself to be myself and that I am myself by bringing things in intentionally, not, just based on trends and what's happening in the world and what everyone else is wearing. In my collection, I want to see myself and be reminded of myself, and that is what makes a signature. So in this video, I am going to help us do just that. So if you're interested in diving into the world of signatures, womanhood, and figuring out what your signature scent is, then you are in the right place. It's not a redundancy, it's a fragrance family. Is your sibling redundant because y'all both got the same mama and the same daddy? How about your cousin? Y'all both have the same grandmother. Is your cousin redundant because you're already a grandchild? So why is another one needed? Some of y'all would say yes, but the point I'm trying to make is one of the most, I think, rookie mistakes in picking out a scent and building a collection is not matching things up that smell similar and smell alike. So for starters, y'all better not be shocked or surprised. I'm gonna hit y'all with Burberry Goddess, okay? And then I'm gonna hit y'all with Montguerlain, all right? And then from the house of Argos, I'm going to hit you with Perfume. Now, this is one of my most prominent fragrance families that I have in my collection. So what makes a fragrance family, or what makes a good fragrance family? It's a shared detail, a type of DNA, a vibe, or a quality that a fragrance has. The more obvious one, it can be based on notes, but I'm going to teach y'all the different fragrances that I have that are families in my collection that create a collection of signatures. These fragrances remind me of each other, which reinforces the idea of me having a signature scent in a way that does not make me feel bored, which is why, again, I say it's not a redundancy, it's a fragrance family. And this is one of the best ways that you can, build a collection around a signature scent vibe or profile so that it feels like you. So let's dive right in. So Burberry Goddess, this is a vanillic, sensual, best all around type of fragrance. The vanilla has that familiarity, but then it also has the lavender in this fragrance that gives it this grounded yet aromatic type of quality. This smells like a confident, classy, just classic type of woman that you can encounter every day. You know, this smells like your teacher, your auntie, you know, the secretary at the desk at the dentist office. Like, this is just a best all around, good presenting, feminine type of fragrance that has this familiarity because of that, you know, vanilla, and then this beautiful aromatic quality because of the lavender. Very similarly, we have Mon Guerlain. It's a similar vibe, but it has a twist. It has the lavender, it has the vanilla, but it's done in a different way, but you kind of get the same type of vibe. This has a upbeat vibe, a little zinginess at the top because it has the bergamot, and it gives it, you know, just enough nuance to differentiate itself from Burberry Goddess, to where it's like, a lot of us probably have both of these fragrances because they don't smell exactly the same, but they give a similar vibe, presence, and essence. So, you know, this is how you create a signature, a family within your collection. And then also, y'all have heard me talk about this before. I think it's, you know, not widely talked about, very slept on, especially because the previous two are very popular DNAs that so many women enjoy. And I feel that if you enjoy the Mon Guerlain and the Burberry Goddess, you will honestly enjoy the Perfume from Argos, because it has that same vanillic, floral, aromatic quality that you get, and then it has like the lavender, but it has a little bit of lemon on top. It has a sweet candied lemon quality. So if you think about like Mon Guerlain with a sweet candied lemon type of quality, or the same with Burberry Goddess, this is what you're going to get from Argos Perfume. This is highly complimented, very feminine, very much an easy reach, but also this has the versatility, like all of these, to be worn in any scenario, whether it's to the office, whether it's to an event, whether it's on a date. And y'all know I'm all about wearing your fragrances on this channel. So I love a fragrance family, because if you'll reach for one, the more, you know, likely you'll be reaching for the other. And one thing that helps me enjoy my fragrance collection is like, these all are just a continuation of a story that I'm weaving in my fragrance collection. A lot of times the different things that I bring in my collection, I think about what family they're going to go into, and they all kind of tell a story. So these are going to be based off of the notes of like lavender, vanilla, giving that timeless, effortless, less is more, best all around, classy vibe, easy reach vibe. And that is what, you know, this first family is made up of. So the first fragrance family, I will put that in the archetype of like the sensual, romantic, and the polished presence vibe. Over here on this channel, one thing that I created to help us, you know, create signatures, dive into the world of fragrance collecting in a meaningful and mindful way, is with fragrance archetypes. So these personalities help you understand the psychology of fragrance. What vibes are you trying to present? And then I also created a quiz so that you could take the quiz, you know, figure out your fragrance psychology, your archetype, and it gives you an alter ego, it gives you fragrance recommendations, that sort of thing. But this is going to give that sensual, romantic, and polished presence vibe, because it has a polishedness, a elegance, a classiness, but it is in a warm, grounded, and still very much feminine, sensual, and in touch way, which is why I love the archetypes, because they interconnect, they intercross. So definitely, if you haven't taken the archetypes quiz, go ahead and take it today, because it is a very helpful tool. I'm building it out more, and I definitely have a surprise for everyone who's already subscribed to my email list coming in the future. So the second fragrance family that I have is based off of a vibe, and the ringleader of this fragrance family is Burberry Her. Now, this is one of my signature scents because, again, it's best all around, it's an easy reach, but it has a different vibe. This is what I would like to call a elevated gourmand, because this really just smells like an elevated cotton candy to me. I know it has like all the fruits, it has the amber, that kind of thing, but it just has a very feminine, fruity, wafting quality that gives the idea of spun sugar to me. And again, it can be worn to the office, it can be worn on dates, it can be worn on casually. This is a scent that people recognize me by. Like, if I hug someone that I know, they'll be like, oh, are you wearing Burberry Her? Because, you know, I wear it that often, and it's a fragrance that works well for me, and it smells good. So with that being said, sometimes I'll create a vibe like this is memorable, it's an easy reach, it's like a fun and airy type of vibe. So then next, that is doesn't smell like it, but it smells a similar vibe to it, is Rose Whip from the House of Fleur. If Burberry Her was a rose fragrance, it would be Rose Whip from Fleur, because again, it has this airy quality, this wafting quality. It has a sweetness and a very just like, you know, aromatic vibe to where it kind of like whirls around you. And so they have a similarity in the way that the fragrance presents itself due to its like sweetness and its like airy quality that it has. Because again, you know, this is something that I get a lot of compliments on. All my friends have this, and every time I wear it, they ask me what I'm wearing, and I'm like, y'all, it's Rose Whip, because they say it smells, you know, differently on me. And then finally, one of my favorites from the house of Obvious Parfums, this is Un Pistache. And you might be thinking, like, what does pistachio have to do with Burberry Her and have to do with Rose Whip from Fleur? But that's the exact point. This literally smells like if Burberry Her was a pistachio fragrance. And when I smelled it, I was literally obsessed with it. And I said, oh my God, this is going to be one of my favorites, because I get that same airiness, that sweetness, that liftedness, some floral quality in here that just kind of dances around and like hugs the skin, but in a very like free kind of way. It's again another best all around, easy reach. You can wear this anytime, anywhere. So it has the same characteristics, it has the same qualities that already work for me in Burberry Her. So then I get that same type of vibe from a fragrance that is pistachio, which is also one of my, you know, favorite fragrance notes and fragrance profiles. So again, though it might seem odd, this is a family that is based off of a sweet, airy, easy breezy, you know, effortless type of aromatic vibe, because they all hold that same quality in them as a fragrance, though the notes express themselves in different ways. Let's get into our third fragrance family, which is based off of a creamy, effortless, floral, and ethereal type of vibe. And if you are enjoying this video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and join us for, you know, the Womanhood Mastery series. Give this video a like. And y'all, nobody is going this deep seriously when it comes to fragrance and like giving us the why and the how and, you know, what you can do to actually see yourself in your collection. Like, fragrance is a very powerful tool and a very powerful signature that women can use in their lives. And I want to say this too, like, if you're on the fence about having a signature scent, a signature vibe, a signature look, for me personally in my life, when you have signatures and it's something that you can consistently do and people start to recognize it, it automatically kind of builds, you know, for some people a level of respect, but other people it can build a level of like hierarchy and insecurity. I cannot tell y'all how many times that I have gotten pushback or side eyes for being able to consistently wear a fragrance or to consistently, you know, put on a certain type of outfit, or if there's a habit that I consistently do or express. Like, people will point it out, they'll make fun of it, but really it's because they've noticed it, they admire it, and maybe they feel like, you know, they can't replicate it for themselves. So when I say having signatures, having that level of consistency to, I'm gonna put my fragrance on every day, I'm gonna put my makeup on every day, I'm going to put on, you know, my outfit every day, or nope, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. I go to Pilates class, I'm gonna have to see y'all, or if y'all want to see me, we're gonna have to reschedule for another day. But, you know, this is my signature, this is what I do. When I tell y'all, that will get under the wrong people's skin, but it will literally make the right people see you and respect you for exactly who you are. So that's just my 2 cents about, you know, really taking the idea of finding a signature, having a signature, and being a signature woman seriously. Okay, babes, so yeah, this fragrance family is the creamy, milky, lactonic, floral fragrance family, and I absolutely love. Now, first off, from the house of Liquids Imaginaire, I have Blanche Bette. This is a very popular, creamy, ethereal, lactonic, you know, mystical smelling, tuberose, woody type of fragrance that it just has this effortless, creamy vibe, and it's a fragrance family that I love, which is what this fragrance family really embodies. I have other fragrance families in my collection that do this, but it embodies the idea of less is more, feminine effortlessness, ethereal wafting, and high projecting fragrances that smell soft because it sneaks up on you. It provides a different experience than something with, like, say, some zesty notes or some patchouli. You expect to smell that, but when you just get a creamy vanillic floral type of vibe, and it's like it's widespread but it's just a soft vibe, I just cannot get enough of the response that I get from that. And it's kind of like you're luring people in. So yeah, that's Blanche Bette. Something that people say smells very similar, and it does, it's Lift Me Up from the House of Initio. So this bears similarities to Blanche Bette because it has that creaminess, it has that beautiful vanillic quality, but this is very solar. This smells like in the sunshine. It's very like lifted. It has a more just a bubblier personality versus, I would say that Blanche Bette is not serious, but she's just a little bit more contained, maybe a little bit more reserved because it has like some darker, deeper type of notes, whereas this is just very airy, up in the air. And then one of my favorites that I've been raving about from the House of Commodity, this is Milk Orchid. It also has that very creamy, very lactonic, very wafting, airy quality. This has like a slightly thicker, more like sugared vibe that I get from it, but nonetheless it has a beautiful, soft, and projecting quality that turns heads. It gets attention, and it just smells so lovely, just so ethereal. It's a fragrance where people ask me what I'm wearing. It's highly complimented. It lures people into, you know, conversations and stuff like that with me. So all of these fragrances bear strong similarity to each other because of, you know, the similar notes, the similar vibes, and that kind of thing that it brings. Now everyone's going to be different. Their fragrance journey, the reason why they have a signature scent, or, you know, they're collecting, is going to be different. But if I were you, if you like something that smells similar, another way that you can create signatures in your collection is with flankers. I know a lot of people do that because you get that same DNA, but then again it expresses itself differently. So flankers are another just obvious way to do fragrance families in your collection. So I thought I might call that out, but this is the more like in-depth, masterclass, nuanced type of version that I'm presenting with y'all today. And as y'all can see, I put thought into this and what I like, what I get a response from, what I want to invoke. The reason why I like this style of fragrance is because it projects and it says I'm here, but in a soft way. Because for me, I like a inviting fragrance that is not too obvious, and it works for me because if you see me in real life, I am very easy to notice. I am tall, I am beautiful, I am well spoken. I walk into the room, I'm 5'9", and I'm always wearing, you know, heels, mostly at least like a 3-4 inch heel. So it's like, for me, I don't need to do too much when it comes to my clothing. I don't need to do too much when it comes to my fragrance. Do I sometimes because I can and I will? Yes, of course. But we're talking about signatures. We're talking about a default setting, something that kind of works for your vibe. Because to me, I just like the balance of things. Like, you know, if y'all are into astrology, I'm a Libra. I love beauty, but I love harmony and I love balance. So this is the kind of thing that, you know, I think about when I'm portraying myself to the world, when I'm creating and curating a vibe, an aesthetic, you know, an essence that other people get to experience. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because it's very different when you put your own thought into it versus trying to copy and paste what the next person is doing. So again, use my ways, use my methods, but the way you do it is going to be different. You can come up with your own way of doing things, but the method is here and it's very clear, and this is, you know, what you should be trying to replicate. Okay, but yes, everyone's different. Some people might say, if you have this, then why do you need that? And that is a perfectly fine way to be. That is another feminine archetype, because a lot of us, you know, find ourselves and learn ourselves through differences and different experiences. But a lot of us, myself included, we learn ourselves through patterns, through familiarity. I would probably, you know, say that more people are that way, but the way that is encouraged by the world is to like do something different, be bold, stand out. Oh, do this, have a whole bunch of different versions of something. No, Me, no, I'm not doing it. I like what I like, so I do what I do. Resist the urge to be encouraged to be schizophrenic all the time in your tastes, in your likes, and in your desires. It is okay to say, this is who I am, this is what I like, so I'm going to continue to do it. That is what makes a woman grounded, standing in her power, and having signatures with things, as simply seeming as fragrance, but the way you do one thing oftentimes is the way that you do another thing. So that's not to say don't explore, but if you like something that's the same, like, you have the goal in your fragrance collection to have everything different because that's the type of person that you are, that's great. But if you're not that type of person, like me, maybe you're not, but if you are like me, I am not in a race to just have every single thing that is different for the sake of saying that I have this breadth and depth of fragrance collection, because that's just not me, that's not my style. But some people, that's their style. If it's your style, it'll be your style. But if it's not, if it's taxing for you, a lot of people it's taxing for. A lot of people, they find themselves, in a financial state that they don't like. They find themselves overwhelmed. They find themselves decluttering. One thing about me is I really don't declutter fragrances because I don't bring clutter into my life. Okay, if there's a fragrance that I think I like and I maybe don't like it, no problem, I'll give it away, I'll sell it on Mercari. But it's not like this big thing to where I always have 10 or 15 or 20 fragrances that I'm decluttering, because I have thought and sat and took a little while to just say, this is what works for me, this is what I like. So by the time I bring something into my collection, it's genuinely like a part of my collection for the most part. Okay, so if you do have to declutter and do those types of things, that's fine. However, one thing that I would encourage for women just overall in life is just practice giving yourself peace of mind from the start. And that starts with, being intentional, having certain habits, having a certain standard for yourself, and just a vision of how you want things to go. So once you declutter, you might have, better peace of mind. It works for you, and that's amazing. And, I think that's something, again, that's modeled for us, like on the internet. Consume, and then it's like, oh, I consume too much, let me get rid of all of this stuff. But the, thing that I practice, the more mindful thing to do that works for me, is to give yourself peace of mind from the start. Okay, so yeah, babes, this is a video I've been wanting to bring to y'all for a while, and the idea of fragrance families as it relates to your personality, your vibe, your feminine archetype, and then just really a true breakdown of how you can create signatures in your collection to find your personal signature scent. I think every woman should have signatures in her life, especially a signature scent. I think this is a beautiful way to add a finishing touch and detail on who you are as a woman. So let me know, did you all find this video helpful? Let me know what type of fragrance collector you are. Do you build your fragrance collection based off of families and signatures? Are you like a person that likes to explore every single fragrance and the different nuances that the fragrance world has to bring? Let us know down below. What is your signature scent? What is your go-to? What is the thing that you have been wearing for years and that is tried and true in your collection? And what is the vibe that you want to bring, and the image that you want to communicate to the world? We really would like to know. But again, y'all, as always, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please go ahead and give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below, and I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye.